In Potomac, a fiery box always stays lit.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
Real Housewives of Potomac, let me tell you all something. Everything that y'all said it was going to give, it most definitely gave. The first episode, we come out the box swinging. Real Housewives of Potomac season 6, let's get sickening. I enjoyed this episode. We have all come back from season 5, all of the drama with Monique and the binder full of women. Baby, I just expected season 6, like, well, you know, I didn't know what it was gonna give. But girl, they came out the gate ready, and we gotta get into all of it. So we're refreshing it up on the ladies and seeing what's new. Some folks have bought houses, some folks have updated houses, some folks stay outside of Baltimore. And on a show that's called Real Housewives of Potomac, girl, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Girl, Giselle house looked like Thomas Jefferson died in front of it, or he was buried there or something. Giselle, you can't be talking about Dr. Wendy's house, even if it is in Timbuktu, girl. It looks way better than that house that you got. Baby, that house looked like it needs to be Little House on the Prairie, right behind the prairie. It needs to be underground with the prairie dogs. Giselle's inside and outside of her house, like the shingles, the stuff in the front, it's just like, I cannot deal. I was like, Giselle, this looked like, you know, this is where Abraham Lincoln was raised, and they end up like not changing anything except the inside. Like, Giselle looked like the only update she's done in her house is probably the plumbing. I just don't get it. Giselle, we talking about Giselle's house, we talking to her kids. We getting refreshed on the ladies and what's new, what's going on. And you know, we want to see how they're going to do with Monique no longer being on the show. So we get to Candiace's house. Candiace has, you know, she's in her house, her $1.1 million home. I'm not sure what part of, you know, the DMV is in, but the house was ugly as hell too. Like Candiace, that house looked like something in Duluth for $300,000, and like $500,000 can get you a lot in Duluth. But that house was very ugly. The outside was ugly, the inside was ugly. Like, girl, like if $1.1 million and I get inside your living room and that's what your living room is giving, girl, like the inside of my living room looked way better than that. Like y'all had a TV, the TV looked like it had a big booty in the bag. And it's just like, I can understand, stuff takes time. I promise you I've been through it. I'm going through it with West Ham right now, that a couch that I hated, that I don't like, that I'm sending back, the couch that I really want, it won't be here till probably October, November. So I can get, you know, the pandemic has made buying furniture and stuff more complicated. But you are somebody who's staying in $1 million home making that type of money. Girl, I'm just not understanding what's going on. Like, it's just not making sense. And then your taste just does not seem to be, but you don't really have that good taste anyway, so it really doesn't even, you know, make a difference. We get to Michael, and this is your daughter, Ashley. We get to Michael and Ashley, and it's just giving very much cringe. It's giving very much cringe, you know, like Michael and Ashley Darby it just sounds like a scheme that Todd came to us to come to us with the bullshit. And it's giving that. Ashley's sitting there looking very, you know, barefoot and pregnant and beautiful. She looks really good. I love her little tummy. Like her tummy, I love seeing Ashley's tummy. I was like, oh, this is so cute. It's just like ready to pop. I love it. So, you know, her and Michael are talking about that they have not had any shaboing. They did nothing in what, like, since she says since she's had her baby, well, since you know, the new pregnancy. So she said about 4 months. 4 months? Girl, I get it though. I get it. Like, cause when you ain't feeling it, it just ain't producing the stuff and it's just not giving what it's supposed to give. But I don't think Ashley and Michael was having that much sex to begin with. So I think for them to go even longer, it's really telling. Like, girl, it might be at the end. She might fulfill her obligation with the contract and go ahead and run me my coins. So they start talking about the, you know, indiscrepancies and whatever that Michael got going on, humping folks in hotels and stuff, and back rooms and stuff, and meeting in glory holes. Michael dude looked like the he goes to glory hole. Let's get it done, my God. Michael is just creepy as hell. So they talk about that. We get to Candiace, And Candiace is talking about her home and how her mother, you know, is no longer paying the mortgage. They're paying, her and Chris are doing fine and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, I cannot tell if the furniture I can tell it just looks very outdated. Her house, like, for that to be $1.1 million, it just looked bad. Nothing about their home gave me. Like, honestly, out of all the homes that we've seen, I'm only impressed with Wendy's, and who else is that other girl? And the Grand Dame. Like, that's the only people house I've seen that's just like, the way y'all be talking. And the reason why I'm dragging y'all homes is because y'all be getting on here like talking about all this money, all this stuff. And I'm just like, if you know money is giving you the things that you can talk about, then we most definitely can't talk about y'all houses because they just look terrible. But Giselle ain't got no taste. She ain't got no taste in men. She ain't got no taste in clothing. She ain't got no type of exquisite taste. That's why she needs to stay in the shade so she can keep whatever cute face she says she has. But I think Giselle is pretty. But the way she dressed like somebody, I don't even know what to call it, girl. But Giselle, I hope you step your fashions up. I hope you do a little something, girl. Please, quickly. So Giselle shows up at Candiace's house and they're talking and they just having a conversation. I honestly don't remember too much of what they were talking about. I think it was kind of on the, you know, what's the name of like, you know, girl, what's going on since, you know, the pandemic and what's going on with you and Chris. And it was just kind of giving a boring meetup. It wasn't nothing to talk about. Now there was one scene where Giselle and Candiace were talking and Candiace had pulled out a binder, and when I tell you, I am so shocked that Giselle didn't have no flashback and faint, because baby, when Candiace pulled out that binder, I started hollering immediately. I'm like, girl, not y'all pulling out a binder on this girl. Now that I think about it, Giselle was talking about, you know, her and Jamal are no longer together and da-da-da-da, and Candiace is just like not buying it. Y'all were never together to begin with. And Giselle's just like, you know, the pandemic made their relationship a little bit more complicated, you know, because she couldn't see him as much. And I was just like, girl, all this stuff the man has done and the pandemic and y'all not seeing each other is the worst of it. Woo, girl, you know, good luck with trying to pull that story out your ass. So we get to Karen and Ray, and Karen and Ray are talking about renewing their vows and what to call it. I think she came up another, like a second time around or something. It was some phrase that she came up with, her daughter came up with, or a friend or somebody came up with, and I really, really liked it. I said, okay, this is really cute. But Karen and Ray, I like them. I like Karen. There's some moments where I was like, Karen, girl, Karen, but I'm actually liking Karen and Ray, and I wouldn't be, you know, upset to see more of them. You know, like more Karen. I love it. Now, Karen was on Wendy Williams this morning, and girl, she was ready for Giselle. Sis is ready for Giselle. I can tell that she was a little bit nervous and stuff in the initial when she came out, but she did a really good job sitting down with Wendy and talking about all the stuff and talking about the cast, and she did a really good job. I'm happy for the Grand Dame. She's bringing it, and I'm here for it. So we get to Juan and Robyn, and let me tell you something. Juan and Robyn need to go from Bravo to TLC, because they whole marriage, relationship, whatever it is, situationship is, needs some tender loving and care or something, because baby, Juan just seems so disgusted by Robyn. Like, it is very cringy to watch. He's having a conversation with her about like how she just sleeps in the bed all day. She don't get out of bed. She ordered Chick-fil-A. She having whatever. Like, you can tell that Robyn is dealing with a little bit of mental, like she's dealing with stuff, depression and stuff. And she talked about that on the Breakfast Club a little bit. She talked about it a little bit. And it's just like a lot of people were dealing with that during the pandemic. I know I was one of them. It's like, girl, what is it? Like, even for like an introvert like myself, I just wasn't just like motivated. I was just eating. It was just like, girl, that was all it was to do, because it was just like we couldn't do anything. So instead of like trying to be there and trying to coach her to like getting back to doing the things that she loved or helping her out as a husband should, he was just like trash. He was just like, you know, this ain't attractive. This ain't this. Like, one, your hairline is literally about to disappear into nothing. Like, one, you are cute sometimes, but I just think folks be giving one too much. Like, one ass ain't shit. One is something like you hit and quit and you move on about your business. You don't get stuck with that, because one just doesn't seem like a good person when it comes to relationships and stuff. And I really wish you would leave Robyn alone, because it's clear as day that he is not interested in marrying her again or whatever, and it's just even forced force. And I feel bad for Robyn. And I just like, Robyn, you can do so much better. Robyn is like, she's a very beautiful woman. She's all of that, but I understand the dating is hard, girl. Let me tell you something. I'm actually working on the Dating is Ghetto video. It is very, very hard getting out here and all that other stuff. But Robyn is very, you know, a nice person. I think she has her ways that some men probably will, you know, have to like, ooh, girl, I'm not used to this. But I think Robyn is, you know, she's cool. But how Juan is treating her and talking about he's not attracted to this and this and that. I'm like, girl, do you know how much stuff that you do that is not attractive that Robyn puts up with? Like, it just wasn't. And he was just, in that moment, that's when the husband power is supposed to kick in. That's when you're supposed to be like caring for your spouse, your partner, and making sure like you seeing that you're different and stuff. You're supposed to be in tune to what's going on. You're supposed to be in tune, like, hey, my girl ain't doing the normal stuff that she normally does. Like, what's going on? Let me talk to her. And the way he was talking to her, like, he was like talking to her like he was her coach. And I was just like, I don't like this at all. It just wasn't giving that to me. And they asked her in the confessional, does she plan on getting married? What's going on? She said it was a pandemic. Baby, let me tell you something. Cynthia got married during her pandemic. A couple other folks got married in the pandemic. Like, Robyn, save it. That man ain't interested in marrying you. And y'all don't have to be married to be in love, but it's clear that y'all ain't even that much in love. He don't seem like he in love with you. And we saw in the trailer for the season that Robyn, you had to get dragged by her friend Giselle, and she knows everything about ain't shit men, and she telling your fine ass man is out here telling you that he's not attracted to you. That's very concerning. That's very, very concerning. So I hope things get better for them. Now Candiace is talking about she wants a child or babies running around. I don't like that Candiace had her two nephews or whoever at this house. It's giving very much like they need to borrow some kids for a storyline. I'm just like, please, for the love of God. This girl seems like that she does not feel comfortable on camera. Please, I hate when y'all be putting these kids on camera. The Department of Labor needs to get in contact with y'all when y'all be putting these kids on the camera and they're clearly not comfortable, and y'all be forcing the children on it. And it's just like, girl, what do we do? What is it that you, like, why? Like, these children, like the child seemed like that she was not comfortable on camera, and they just kept, I just hated it so much. It just made me cringe. But this conversation about having a child, and she would be the third or fourth baby mama, and Chris is whatever his name is. What's her husband name? I don't even really know. Colonizer? I'm not sure. Colonizer, you're a colonizer, baby. Colonizer, you are colonizer. Boy, don't try to front, you know, you a colonizer, bitch. I can do a whole routine to that, and I actually might do it exclusively on Patreon, period. But yes, girl, I have some questions. I have a question for you. Like, what's going on with Candiace and her man? So we get back to Dr. Wendy. Dr. Wendy is preparing for her skin thing, or her skin tour, or whatever. She didn't have her girls done, her twins. She called them Happy and Ness. Very beautiful. I loved it. Wendy looks really good. I can tell that something looked different about Wendy when she came into the confession. I was like, oh yeah. Wendy had a refresh. She's been refreshed. It's always funny, like when the first season, the Housewives come on, and then you see how they did change some stuff up, because they ain't got their check. I think they get their check at the end of the season. And Wendy, she didn't say, she probably looked at herself on camera and not liked how she looked or whatever, and was like, I can do a little work. Or she could say, I got an extra coin, let me make this happen. But Wendy looks really good. Her face looks really good. Everything, her makeup looks good. Her wig looks, she didn't step her cookies up. I now kind of wonder, can she step her storyline up? Like, what's it giving? Because the rumor stuff about her husband, I don't know how to feel about that. I feel like that's some stuff that's not really, really true, but we're gonna see. So Giselle is the first person to arrive at the Wendy's skin, whatever, reveal yourself, whatever she got going on. And Giselle comes in, she's dragging, talking about how long it took to get there, and that Wendy stays all the way on the other side of the country. She's in Nigeria, she in customs, she's making all the jokes, and she comes in. First of all, I hate a motherfucker like, I hate somebody like Giselle who comes in and just shades, like says something like, girl, y'all stay far as hell. Like, I don't do that. Like even if it was a situation, I would say, "Ooh, girl, y'all got a lot of snow outside." I would have said something like that. But to come in just like, "Ooh, girl, y'all stay far," and it's like, Giselle, do you know how much shit we can drag you for, bitch? You like, how dare you come in trying to drag this girl home when this house looked cute? It looked very cute. She has 3 children. I'm pretty sure Wendy is pretty good. Like, girl, this is where I can afford to stay in. I got 3 children to raise. I'm not trying to have them in no sugar shack like you got. Like, Wendy, like, house looks good. Giselle, your house looks like a burial. Your house looks like a funeral home for like old presidents or something. Like, it's just, it looks ridiculous. And for you to be trying to drag somebody, like, girl, you got a lot of shit to drag, Giselle. I hate that girl who got a lot of shit we can drag them for, but want to be shading everybody else. Girl, I would eat you alive, girl, period. So Giselle gives that, and you know, it was tacky as hell for Wendy not to be ready and all that, girl. It's like, girl, we took us forever to get her. Like, girl, you could have been downstairs greeting us or having something going on. She had a little shindig, some folks, some chefs and stuff helping, but I don't think it was enough. So Robyn comes in, you can tell they irritated. They're like, oh, girl, like, what's going on, all of this? Wendy comes downstairs, she's seeing everybody, Ashley down there. She talking about, you know, hey girl, like, reveal yourself and all that other stuff or whatever. I don't know what it was, girl. So they get to the back room. Mia and the Grand Dame on their way. They've been driving, they shade, a little shade. But Mia and what's the name, and the Grand Dame, Karen, they come in with that type of energy. They sit down. You can tell that Karen was a little bit uncomfortable seeing Giselle, just like, you know, she was trying to act like, you know, there's an elephant in the room, but I ain't finna address it. So they sit down and they talking, and Wendy shares that, you know, she had her boobs done, and everybody talking about it like, girl, like, you had your butt done too. She's like, no, I haven't had my butt done. I haven't had my butt done. She had some tweaks. You had a butt, girl. Like, it's okay. You had a butt. You look good. You look fabulous. All those things is giving. They get their time for dinner. I want some of that curry soup. That curry soup look good as hell. I'm about to find, I don't know what type of soup that is, but y'all know I love me some seafood. And if it's some soup with some crab or some, baby, I want to eat it. If it's some crab or some lobster in it, some soup, baby, it's getting slurped at. Hey, I might actually go to the Pawn City Market today and give me some soup, because baby, yes, I love it. So, Mia gets in, and Mia is just a hoot. You know, they talking, and you can tell that Wendy a little bit pressed, a little bit about what's the conversation about the boobs and stuff and whatever. And she's like, well, what girl, what have you had done? Because it seemed like you done had a lot. Wendy, there was a lot to be saying some shit like that. Like, there was a lot. So she, like Mia said, well, girl, I had, you know, vasectomy, I had this, so I said vasectomy, a bladder, whatever she said she didn't have her face, all this. She might as well vote. She just said she had all of these things done. And she said she's proud of it. She said, girl, I even had my clit worked on. And the girls were like, huh? You're a what? Yeah, she said, girl, I had my clit worked on. Like, it's giving, I had it done. And even before this, like, Mia is the girl, she's talking about her husband being 30 years older than her. She does not know how old her husband is compared to her. It's just like, Mia came in, she did a cute introduction. The king of reality TV, Carlos King himself, said that he likes Mia and watch out for Mia because he can see Mia being that girl. I'm gonna have to disagree with him a little bit. I think Mia she did a pretty good job of coming in, shaking stuff up, not doing too much, not being, you know, like trying to drag everybody, but just introducing herself and what it is and just owning her, like who she is as a person and what she had worked on and stuff. So I think she did a good job like that. I don't, however, think she has a strong story, and I'm not as curious about her story. So y'all tell me how y'all feel about Mia, but it is interesting. And let's talk about colorism a little bit, because it is interesting seeing the response to how Mia was when she comes in and she's talking about all her things and her accomplishments and her da-da-da-da-da, and how she was met versus when Wendy came in and she talked about her degrees and all the other stuff. Now, all of it is in respectability. I still disagree with Wendy on some stuff. Like, I think she does perform respectability a lot, and it's annoying. But, you know, I don't expect much from somebody who be going on Fox News thinking, you know, going off on white folks is really doing some work. But, you know, I think that, you know, the way Mia was looked at and treated was different. Like, she was tolerable for a lot of folks, even online watching. versus how Wendy was. And that's just like folks say, well, no, Wendy was doing that, because I'm pretty sure people will name everything that Wendy did that annoyed them versus what Mia did. But what I'm saying is colorism happens, and then it affects how we look at people and how we see folks as like a threat or whatever. Like, it's real stuff. It's data to back this stuff up. So, you know, I am seeing a little bit of a difference, even with this, like her bragging and stuff, how it's perceived. Like, I think, like I've always told, I do not ever want to call a black woman, especially a dark-skinned black woman, aggressive or anything. I just don't, because the world does it enough. So yeah, girl, sis didn't know how old her man was. She didn't know no math. Mia seemed like yeah, she's a special case, but I love her. I love her for what she came and gave. Girl, Giselle and Karen get into Karen. Giselle lets the cat out of the bag and said, well, you know, I don't fool with Karen. Baby, she starts dragging, and Karen said, girl, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this with me. And baby, Giselle was like, I'm gonna talk about your past. I'm gonna talk about these things. We gonna talk about it. Giselle was ready to drag Karen, but Miss Karen, the grown dame, was ready back. And Karen fired back, baby. Karen was like, girl, do you wanna talk? Let's talk about you and your fiery box. That's why you can't keep a man. Baby, let me tell you something. All of it was given back and forth, internalized misogyny. Giselle got a trash man. Karen had talked about being married to a man at the very least, but she ain't necessarily fulfilled all the time with her man, but it's just the status of being married, because this is what is expected of a woman. It's like, it's getting very, very dated. Like, it's getting very, very dated. Like, I'm just like, we are still watching y'all argue about like who needs to be married. You ain't got no man. It, like, it's as if that's a dig. To be honest, women, y'all are surviving more. Y'all are living longer without a man. I promise you. Like, it's not the end of the world, girl. I know how the world look at you, but it's like, girl, do not settle, because that's a lot of times what folks are doing. And they going back and forth and just dragging the hell out of each other. And I'm listening to Karen like drag her, and I'm laughing a little bit at the same time. What is Karen trying to say about, you know, Giselle's fiery box? Is she trying to say it's dry, or is she trying to say she had to clap? Because even if Giselle did have something like, you know, syphilis, gonorrhea, all that stuff is treatable. So what type of fiery box is she talking about? Like, what is she saying about her fiery box? Is it something that is like an STI that you have to treat over time for the rest of your life? What is she saying? Like, I don't really like this, you know, this joke on, like, what is she? I just like have some questions, like, what is she saying? And I don't know, like, as a person living with HIV, I'm like looking at this like, okay, you know, what is she saying about the fiery box? Like, what is she trying to say? It's like, girl, I don't know. I don't know what Karen is saying about the fiery box. It was kind of fun a little bit, like, I ain't gonna lie, because she was like, girl, your fiery box, she said, you're a whore from Hampton. Baby, she said a whore from Hampton. And then she said, Karen made a joke about Giselle something, and she was like, well, at least it works. And I'm just like, both of y'all. Like, Giselle man ain't shit, and then, you know, Karen man apparently can't keep it up. And they just like, both of y'all seem to be having some insecurities in y'all relationship, and y'all just both dragging about who got a man, who don't. Girl, y'all are grown. You a grown ass woman, and that shit don't make no sense. Y'all literally arguing this shit on this show. And y'all want to perform respectability. Y'all around here arguing about who cooch is on fire, who got it clapped. Y'all asses in the 9th grade. But other than, you know, I laughed, I screamed. Mia said, what's a fiery box? Mia gonna have me laughing. Mia gonna have me laughing. But this was a cute episode for the first one for season 6. As you can tell, my review, she extended to the left. March. But girl, I will be reviewing Real Housewives of Potomac every week. I just got my life watching this, and I was like, okay, Justin will be talking about it. Tell me what you thought about this episode. Cannot wait to see episode 2. The trailer for this season looks sickening. So let me go ahead and get y'all comments and tell me what y'all thought about today's episode, and I'll talk y'all later tonight. All right.